G'day and welcome to the Inforunners final day of the Expo. Thank God it's over. I can get some sleep.
We're so tired. We're so tired, guys. We're so tired.
Paul's been doing his own stuff as well, so he's probably just as tired as I am, to be honest with you. Another year. It is one of the hardest, most. I think any Star Citizen YouTuber would tell you it's probably the most active time of year, the anniversary sale, and we've got the Invictus to look forward to now. So they were nice enough to take it from once a year to twice a year. So I kind of thank the CIG for that. Thanks very much.
It's also the holidays, so people have more spending cash. They tend to look at these kind of things, and so it's that time of year where not only do you have more people with more money, but you also have more people interested in watching video games because all the new games are coming out. Plus, you've got for us like YouTubers, we actually get more ad revenue during this time because they increase the ad revenue because they're getting more ads.
I can definitely attest to that. We got last year we got like almost as many subscribers in the anniversary sale as we got in the 6 months before that. That's that's year, how much of a boost you get. Yeah.
This year I got about 300, 400 subscribers over the last 6 months so far. And during the anniversary sale alone, I have gotten 300 subscribers.
Yeah.
That's how many more people are paying attention. So if you're new, hello, welcome.
Yeah, welcome. All right, we didn't actually plan to talk about this at all, but yeah. No, so I think we'll kick it over to the browser, get back to the regularly scheduled program, and go through today's offering. So I did mention at the end of the show yesterday that they will be doing these best in show skins, and we've kind of added a clarification today on how they're going to work. So Paul, I'll let you say that because you said it really brilliantly before. So
I actually specifically saw the tweet by CIG and looked through it, and I was like, oh, this is really bad. And they actually responded to me on CIG with this, which said the best in show paints / wearables are free for all who own a best in show ship. They will be attributed at the end of the IAE. So if you have a ship or you bought a ship, one of the the 4 ships there, the Carrick, the Cutlass, the Eclipse, or the Valkyrie, if you have those in your hangar on December 2nd, you will have a best in show skin that you can apply to those ships. The reason why they have those upgrades there is because those upgrades are for you to get those ships in the first place. And if you look at the upgrade, if you click on them, it just tells you that it doesn't say a best in show edition. It just says like the Eclipse. It just tells you to upgrade to the Eclipse. So all it is these are the ships that have the skins, and they're showing off the skins. And you can go to the hangar and you can see the skins on the ships if you want to see them right away. So not only it's actually a little bit better than I thought it was going to be, because not only do you get it for free if you have the ship, but if you go to the show floor, you can actually see what it will look like on your ship, like in game right now. So,
and I don't know if anyone's like me, but on December 3rd, I probably won't own these ships, but I'll still get to keep the skin. So that's a way you can get the skin and keep it to use in game for a later date when you possibly get a version of it in game or something like that.
Yeah.
I think that was a really good way to cover it, Paul. Going back through, looking through the day like we have for previous days, I don't know about Paul, but I think it was the safest way to do it is just leave it on these 4 actually. But for me, they're all kind of good places at the moment, these ships. The exception being the Eclipse, which is quite overpriced for what it is. But the Valkyrie is a really good ship in game at the moment with the vehicles and stuff like that. Long term, I would personally lean to others. So I should go back and ask your opinion, Paul. So we'll start with the Eclipse because that's the negative one. Do you kind of agree that that's in a bad place? What's your thoughts on that?
It's in a bad place. It's going to get worse. Not only is they're going to fix torpedoes. They've already kind of nerfed torpedoes significantly, and they're going to make it worse going forward. So the Eclipse is a stealth bomber, which is it might eventually make back some of its value simply because being stealth is going to start mattering a lot more when you start having more complex scanning technology or complex scanning gameplay. But it's still in that weird place because it's still fairly expensive.
Kind of makes it interesting cost too, with a lot of people picking up the Polaris yesterday. So people haven't thought about that either, because it's going to affect all torpedo gameplay. I remember someone was talking to me yesterday, and that they'd gone quite into depth into researching it there, and they're changing the name of the shaft and the flares and all that. So it's going to be a whole new system that's kind of a bit more foreign to what we have as a flight system from our modern era, from what I picked up yesterday. So,
yeah. And I was going to say that like it's $300. It's not worth $300.
No.
The guns don't do nearly as much. The missile, you can get similar missiles or similar ships that have torpedoes, which have better quality. I mean, I think you can get a Retaliator for cheaper.
You get a Retaliator
like $250.
You can get a Retaliator base for $150. So you could actually get 2 Retaliator bases, and the loner is the bomber. And the bomber is I wouldn't buy the bomber now the base exists, put it that way. But yeah, it's kind of crazy. Yeah. So that's the negative one out of the way. Let's talk about the next least negative one, which would probably be the Valkyrie, because for me, I think something like, say, the C2 is probably going to be a bit more versatile. They have added the cargo back into the Valkyrie, so I guess a really weird way to look at the Valkyrie is a cheap man's Hercules. I don't know if you kind of agree with that. What's your kind of take on the Valkyrie?
I could say it's a cheap man's Hercules. I think the other thing that the Anvil Valkyrie has is going to be a lot better handling in the atmosphere than the Hercules is. It has a smaller footprint. Agreed. And going forward, when you have certain things like bases inside forests, or when the train scatter starts to become a little bit more crazy, you're gonna have to have a much larger space to land that Hercules. Whereas if you put a Valkyrie down, it's a smaller area. It's
smaller landing pad too than the Hercules as well.
Smaller landing pad. Like what you're paying for is its ability to strike in and out. Is really what it is, and the smaller size makes it harder to hit. Troop, like, because it actually has troop seats where we don't know how many seats the Hercules will have necessarily. It has a lot of versatility and a lot of like it's built to be in atmosphere. So there's some advantages to it for the C2, which is basically just get from space to the ground, get everything out, and get out. You're not going to or leave it there. You're not going to manage a C2 like you would. Like it won't become nearly as effective as a Valkyrie is. So
that's a default balance mechanic, and that's kind of across all ships that way. So I kind of want to talk about the Anvil Carrick for a bit, because you said before the show, and I've heard the same thing as well. The Anvil Carrick is the best ship for dollar at the moment, but I want to kind of go back to yesterday's episode for just a brief moment when we were saying if you like we were kind of talking people out of kind of upgrading from an Anvil Carrick to a Perseus, but if you're not an Explorer Persian, then that is an option. When we give advice on a per dollar value. So I've heard people, and I've heard you have heard people say, Paul, that talking people about out of upgrading from a character Perseus, but you need to ask that person what they do and are they really into exploring. That's the first question we kind of ask when we do a Fix My Fleet. Find out what they're into before you give them any advice. Yes, technically the Perseus might not be for them, and then once you find that out, that's when you make your recommended advice. But if they hate exploring and they've got a Carrick, maybe they would be into the Perseus. You need to ask them and find out. And so I just want to give that bit of advice.
I upgraded my Carrick to a Perseus because I have no real interest in the Carrick. I was part of a really good package, and the value is pretty good. And I'm like, you know what, the Perseus is a large ship, harder to get in game than you think, and it allows for multi-crew gameplay with the same number of seats as the Carrick, and it has bigger guns. So if I want to go,
you want to do piracy,
people.
You want to do piracy, kind of smuggling, don't you? That's what you want to do in game.
Yeah.
So that the Perseus is definitely a better option for Paul. So I just want to kind of go over that, because I've heard a lot of people shooting other people down when they're saying, "Oh, I want to upgrade my Carrick to a Perseus," and you've always got to take each person's case on a case-by-case basis. Jax, stop. I'm recording. It's pulling shit apart. Stop it. Yeah, no, stop. Naughty boy. I'll deal with you later. Sorry about that, everyone. So Drake Cutlass, obviously going to be probably the most popular skin just because it's the cheapest ship in the game. But it's a great little game.
Not the cheapest. It's the cheapest ship that has these skins,
Yes, but it's not a serious. Jax, are you serious? Jax, stop.
Cat problems.
Yeah, cat
Cat
problems.
problems.
He never usually comes in when I'm recording, so it's kind of weird. But yeah, long story short, it's a really good ship in the game right now, in a really good place. If you had a friend that brought a Nomad and they're not happy with the Nomad, or you want to do stuff together, the Cutlass is in a really good spot for that. And also one of the advantages of a dual ship is if you get on the ship with them. Like I had a mate that had the Nomad, and I took him up to the Cutlass. I was able to go on the ship with him, and he stupidly spawned on ArcCorp instead of Microtech. So for the first 2 days, he couldn't get off the planet. He just kept crashing and exploding because he didn't know about the tunnel thing. And so I got into his ship and took him out, and then he was able to get into the seat and take over and then fly to Microtech. Little things like that were just a lot easier because he was trying to get out on the Nomad and couldn't get out. But give me a minute. Get the hell out of here. Sorry. Anyway, I think I'm gonna leave. I think I'm gonna leave this. Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. So the Cutlass is very much a. I've always recommended it as a smuggler, as the best smuggling ship in game. It has enough versatility in terms of cargo space. Plus, it's fast. Plus, it's got a lot of weapons if you need to kill things, and you can slap a size 2 quantum drive on that thing, which means it can go fast. Which is it's probably the smallest ship with a size 2. Because I think the Freelancer has as well, but the Freelancer is again, an additional $10 and a little bit more expensive a game as well. So it's pretty good. I think it's, if you are interested in, if you're looking for a ship, if you don't quite know exactly what you want to do, but you want to play the game and you want to be able to do a little bit of everything, the Cutlass is your ship. It is just hands down such a good all-around ship.
I've just realized something from when we were talking about the Nomad. You know how they keep stuffing those starter ships in those advanced starter ships? I don't know about you, but I'd love to see more ships around that Cutlass to Freelancer price point, because they've just got so much more character. Like I actually think the Freelancer and the Cutlass could use more competition, because they are, in my opinion, they are the best starters in the game at that level. If you can get to that level, like if you're happy to pay $100 for the ship, they're just in such a better place to start the game. And I think you'll keep them. I think a lot of starters, like, people will get them and they'll just be sold by the wayside in game and then upgraded to something like this. And like you said, the Freelance and the Cutlass both have this different direction they're going. They're similar, but they've got a different direction they're heading, which is kind of interesting. All right then, Paul, you went in game earlier. Do you want to tell us some of the stuff that's in game today as well?
So if you go into the hall, you can see all of the best in show skins on all the ships that are there. You can rent all of those ships as well. And then if you go down to the observer hall, or the place where they used to have the holograms, and then sometimes the ground vehicles, there they have every single hand weapon in the game. Every single one that you can buy, you can find them all there. You have to pay for them with in-game money, but they're there. Plus, they have themed armors for dusty red-ish planets and snowy planets. So most of the planets in game will fit into that armor schemes.
I wanted a cloud theme there for Horizon. Yeah, it's all white. Yeah, that'd be funny. Like blue at the bottom and white at the top or something. Yeah.
And they have every single armor that's available in game as well. I think most of the armor that you can purchase in game is there in those color schemes. Plus, on the far wall, you can find kiosks which have every single rent and every single ship in the game for zero.
You also mentioned that they have these 4 ships with the skins on them, so you can see what skins you'll be getting as well, which is really, well, I think that's really important to kind of encourage people if they don't already have one of these, or something like that. All right, I just want to add, as we wrap up here today, this is probably a little bit sentimental of me, but someone asked me about 3 or 4 days ago what I get out of doing this every year, because I'm obviously so sleep deprived and stuff, and I really enjoy helping people. That's it in a nutshell. But I get a lot of people. I don't want to get people being hurt buy a video game or financially hurt or anything like that. And that's what I get out of helping people. I can't speak for Paul, but Paul, what do you get out of helping people in this way with what we do here every anniversary in Invictus Sale?
Well, there's always new people coming into the Star Citizen universe, and every time someone comes into the Star Citizen universe, at least on my side, I like telling them the lore because a lot of people don't know it, don't know that these ships have extensive history, and then also when it comes to actually purchasing the ships, a lot of people may come in. I've always had the understanding that, like, I've come to the understanding that there's a lot of people who just don't know the game. So I assume, like, oh yeah, everyone who follows Star Citizen knows about these things, but they may not even know what the Cutlass really does or what its purpose is or anything like that. So these events are really the events that shine to allow people to experience ships that they may not even know exist or may have only kind of seen. Now they can climb inside of them and all that kind of things. And with us talking, we can get the financial part of that down a little bit more, being like, hey, did you know you can get this ship for cheaper? Do you really want this ship? So I'm a teacher by trade. So teaching people is important, and educating people in a way that they can help themselves is always important to me too. A little bit of the same, helping people, but
it definitely, like, anytime you've got money, and let's be honest, it's a lot more money than a normal video game tied in with stuff that can be a little convoluted or confusing. It can be a little scary as well, and I hear that tone in people's voice when they speak, this confusion or worry, like, or sometimes I even hear panic in people's voices, and that's when I know, like, when they walk away and they're a lot calmer and stuff like that, they feel they've made a better decision. And so that's what I get out of it, is literally helping people. I know that probably sounds very cliche, but I in a way I kind of get off on that natural high of helping people. So yeah. All right. Well, that's been the Expo for the year. One other last thing I think I'll add from you and I, Paul, is I did talk to you very briefly on the show, but I am expecting something. I don't know what it is, around the 17th of December to go with that video. Whether it's a ship or something, I don't know. I'm just expecting more than just a video, because generally they do something.
And to confuse people who might be confused watching this. There's a set. If the first video was called Reunion, if you didn't watch that video, it came out at the same time as the Star Runner and that kind of stuff. It's episode 2 of Reunion, or at least part 2 of Reunion, they said at the end of that video is going to come out on December 17th. So December 17th, usually they don't just have a random date for any reason. That's probably another thing that's either going to be tied into the video, or either like the next patch or something else like that.
And being at the end of the
ship.
I was gonna say, being at the end of the year, though, definitely expect that last patch of the year, the 3.12. That's for sure. But that I was expecting that already. I don't know. I could be completely off the mark, but looking at previous years and last year, we got the Mole and the Ares in December. So that's just go ahead.
It's hard to tell. I was going to say, because I think you're right on the mark that there's something that's going to happen. That CIG is trying to keep quiet because they like to kind of pull that through a little bit more. Like they like to have December be something, because even way back in the early days of Star Citizen, they always did a live stream in December. So, and last year they did. Not only did they do the Mole and the
Ares,
they also did that. I think it was that trailer for Squadron 42, that feature trailer. They showed off a bunch of new footage from it. So there's got to be something that that's going to happen at the end of the year, but I don't know what. So I don't know, but I think there's something going to happen.
I have heard rumors through SC Leaks of something like a holiday live stream. So that coming back, that could be a thing. But fingers crossed, it's something cool. I'll just leave you guys with that. I'm going to take a week off and de-stress, get some sleep. Paul's probably going to do the same, and you'll look forward to seeing us again next weekend with our regularly scheduled program. All right. He's been Paul. Wait, I got to go back to the other screen. Very unprofessional today. This today was actually filmed in front of a live studio audience. We got all the Discord boys that have been hanging out all week and dragged them up here and let us listen to us today. So we've kind of given them a behind the scenes look. But yeah, I've been Execute. He's been Paul, or the Astropub, and we'll catch you guys in the next one.